Being a black farmer has always been difficult. And I always knew there was a problem, but I really didn't get it until I was the one that they were doing it to. It means so much because I remember my dad taking me riding in a truck. You had tractors moving, dirt was being thrown over. It was the best feeling. You definitely want your kids to take over the farm for you to keep that legacy going.
The number of black farmers in America has been steadily declining since the 1920s, once accounting for 14% of all farmers. Today, they make up less than 2%. It got me wondering, what's happening to all the black farmers?
We are fourth generation cane farmers. That's all we did. I mean, from my grandfather to my great-grandfather.
I farmed with my two brothers and my dad.
Unlike some struggling crop growers and dairy farmers, sugarcane farmers enjoy regulated prices, which have made sugarcane a wealth crop. June and Angie Provost are sugarcane farmers in Louisiana, and a line of black farmers before them.
Probably 5, 6, I remember my dad just taking me ride in the field, looking at the tractors. I would just try to do everything my dad did. He would always put his arm out the window, so I did the same thing. I was lucky enough to have a business where we can go and enjoy doing what we love every day. It was never a job. I would get up 4:30, 5 o'clock every morning, and we all would go in the field. You had tractors moving, dirt was being thrown over. It was the best feeling. There's a smell. When the air moves, you get that breeze and you get that smell comes after you, like it's undescribable. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. It was my safe place. It was where I felt most comfortable at.
I'm gonna look for it because Bryson.
We were a community of African-American farmers. I mean, you're talking about probably over 50 farmers, farm families. Now, you know, in Louisiana, there's 450,000 acres grown of sugarcane. There are only 4 African-American families left. There's a problem.
All the black farms were, I mean, pretty much family farms. It wasn't just like one single.
Yeah, it wasn't a single. It was a family.
It was family.
That's how they were doing it. Because I still got my boy BJ right now. Still, like, Daddy, why are you not farming no more, man? I wanted to do that, and how do you explain that?
This is a 1994 High Yield Awards. My dad, I think, was 15th place in the top 20 in the state. My oldest brother, he was first place, and I was non-quota first place in the state. I had 8,588 pounds of sugar on 21 acres, and the state average was 5,460 pounds, so almost double the state average.
I met June around February of 2008. He opened the door, it was like, da-da-da-da-da-da. We were like really inseparable since the first moment that we met. When I first met June, I felt like all the hard work that he was doing, that it wasn't paying off for him in some sort of way. Something didn't feel right. I would go with him periodically to the USDA office or to the bank or to even the mill, and I would hear him talk to these loan officers, mill presidents, and it was almost as if he were being disrespected in his face, as if he didn't know what he was talking about. That was something that occurred for years.
First Guaranty Bank made me downsize in 2013. I'm like, why should I have to downsize? I have bills out there for at least a 3,000 to 4,000 acre farm. Well, you won't get a loan unless you downsize to 1,200 acres. In 2014, I didn't get my crop loan until June 16th. Everybody cane their crops were finished, they were green, they were growing, they're about to start planting cane in a month and a half. Here I am just getting in the fields.
The lender First Guarantee did not respond to our request for comment.
In sugarcane, you need your loan in February. Starting from like 2008, the crop loan started in March. Then it got the end of March, then it started in April, then May. I mean, every year the crop was longer and longer delayed. So if you a month or two behind, that is crucial. That means your crop is gonna be behind for the rest until harvest season. And it's a trickle-down effect. So if your cane is behind, your planting is gonna be behind. So not only that you're gonna be suffering for that 1 year, that cane there is gonna be your next crop for the next 3-4 years. So it's a trickle-down effect. It's not like 1 year you can regroup and you're gonna be okay. When you harvest the cane, this right here, you're actually gonna cut this top off.
Oh, sugarcane is a wealth crop. For a 1,000-acre farm, your net profit is close to $150,000 to $200,000.
In 2016, the average sugarcane farm in Louisiana was 870 acres. June and his family once farmed up to 5,000 acres. The Provos believe large black farms drew negative attention from the overwhelmingly white farm community and agriculture institutions.
That's where I think that the threat came from with black farmers, because you had so many farmers who were farming 1,500 acres and upwards.
All of the black farmers that went out, always what we heard, well, their farming practices, or they don't work hard enough, or they only work 3-4 days out of the week. And that is the furthest from the truth. What you don't realize, if you're underfunded, if you're getting your loans late, that is a huge thing on a farm, especially with sugarcane. You have a small window to get out in the field and work your crops.
We've had issues with lenders who've been discriminating against black farmers.
What Angie's describing was the subject of a massive class action suit brought by black farmers. Known as the Pigford lawsuit, farmers alleged that the United States Department of Agriculture was discriminating on the basis of race by limiting and delaying black farmers' access to loans. Thousands of farmers joined the class action, including June and his father, and it resulted in the largest settlement in U.S. government history, and ultimately led to an admission of discriminatory practices within the USDA. U.S. Census data points to stark disparities between black and white farmers. When it came to a federal loan called Commodity Credit Corporation, in 2007, black farmers received an average of $28,408, while their white counterparts received triple that amount of the black farmers.
So in 2014, the problems and issues that we were going through just catapulted.
Which is when they say M.A. Patu, the sugar mill, refused to honor a contract to harvest June's hundreds of acres of sugarcane. The sugar mill did not respond to our request for comment.
Either possibly leave my cane standing in the field or sign a new contract. They could have charged up to $10 a ton if they wanted to. If your cane is left in the field, I mean, you won't have any money to get another crop loan. Your farm is done. That was one of the hardest decisions of my life.
They left 3/4 of my crop uncut.
June estimates that was a loss of at least $500,000 just in crops alone.
That finished putting me out completely.
Protect us against all harm, all evil, and all wrongdoing. Forgive us of our trespasses as we forgive those who have trespassed against us. Amen.
Forced to make an impossible decision, June stopped farming.
The legacy he left is gone.
It's not gone. You're here and you fight. You're here and you fight. Your dad is with you.
Everybody told me the day of this funeral that he's where you want to be, looking at the cane and looking at the mill. But it's not like that no more.
He's so proud of you.
And I feel like I let my dad down by them taking away our legacy. We have a tractor and some sugar cane. That was a must.
It makes me angry when I look at June and I look at his father's gravesite, and I think of all the other young men and women who have passed away at early ages because of hard labor. And I look at a sugar mill, a sugar plantation built by slaves. It makes me angry.
There are not many African American farmers left. And the rate they're going right now, there won't be any more in 5 to 10 years. So I'm gonna fight until I can't fight anymore.
You can't see a growth in white sugarcane farmers while seeing a decline in black farmers and say that race has nothing to do with it.
And all farmers. That was all farmers.
Now that we're in financial trouble, First Guarantee wants to foreclose on this home.
I mean, the embarrassment, the knowing that you won't be able to get a crop loan again, knowing that your career is literally gone. I have nightmares. I see psychologists. I'm having the hardest time. In possibly a month, I can lose my house, property. It's hard to deal with this. I know a lot of farmers are going through this.
June and Angie don't think their experience is unique. They see institutional discrimination across much of the industry as a big reason for the decline of black farmers.
And I always knew there was a problem, but I really didn't get it until I was the one that they were doing it to. And it just opened my eyes up completely. And it's like, wow, you know, they did it to me. They did it to my family members. The whole community of black farmers, they did it to.
The provosts have decided to file 2 lawsuits. One against the sugar mill, M.A. Patu, and another against First Guarantee Bank.
A family of sons and a father who've maintained sugarcane operations for, in this case, at least 3 generations. You don't go out of business because of bad farming practices. There are some outside third-party influences that will cause the demise of an experienced sugarcane operation. It's just shocking to see that these practices continue in 2018. To have to leave your profession under a cloud of discriminatory practices is very disheartening. It causes depression. It causes a lot of hopelessness.
While neither the sugar mill nor the bank have responded to our request for comment, in a previous statement to The Guardian, First Guarantee Bank denied any discriminatory practices.
You are hereby notified that by virtue of writ of possession issued by the Honorable 16th Judicial District Court of Louisiana in and for Iberia Parish, after 24 hours from date of this service, I will place Mortgage Company First Guarantee Bank in full and complete possession of the property belonging to said adjudicate of share sale, being the following described property.
Still shaking, because this is a loss that's just undescribable. I mean, to say, you know, come do this and then tomorrow they're gonna come and change the locks. This is unreal. This is unreal.
We are challenging your crooked mindset, your backwards mindset, your Jim Crow mindset. We'll pass it on to our kids. We'll pass it on to our family members. Make sure that when we're gone, that they will continue to push back.
Despite the loss of their home and the ongoing lawsuits, the provosts are determined to once again farm.